Welcome to Panoply Pictures. G'day, Aussie. Hot as hell here today. It's what, 4th of January or something like that. I don't know. So I love the fact that I do a little circle wipe thing. I used to work for TV and we're doing a new edit program, and they gave us a story about how they went to a country. I went to a country, and then they offered up like a free dinner for somebody if they could use all the wipes and all the different crazy effects like star and wipe, page pill, all the stuff that we never use. And they did it, and it became so cool, and everybody loved it. It sort of became the style of that program that they were learning, that software, which I thought was kind of cool. Anyway, so you keep coming up with these sort of ideas, and what I usually tend to do, and I'm just going to do like a screen record at the same time while I'm doing stuff. Hopefully I won't mess it up or put anything bad in there. So just blank. I usually just start writing when I'm writing, just with a book. Like I like to, like everybody has their own way. Some people just write it straight out. I kind of like to write, like, they call it a prose piece. So it's all the, I can get all the main points all sort of out there, and then add all the things that I'd want to see visually, like, because whenever I write something, I think about directing it as well in the same sort of time, and then I don't think about producing as well, because I think during the creative process, it's just good to be creative. Just don't worry about budget, worry about location or any of that sort of stuff, because you can always scale it all back if you need to, as long as it's sort of still relevant, because sometimes like the location or the object or something is part of the story, so you can't scale it back too much, but you might have to come up with a different way. And I think that's where like real creativity comes from. It comes from like having no limitations, but also putting yourself into a box as well. But when I'm just sort of writing initially, I just want to just put down crazy ideas, like, because this guy lives in like the death world or the supernatural world or whatever, you can do weirder things, right? So you could like catch a lightning bolt, put it in a cup of coffee and then drink it, and then be like lightning infused coffee heated up, and because you're supernatural you can drink it, right? Like we did, it'll blow a head off. It just couldn't happen, but you know what I mean, like you can do sort of crazy dumb things like that. So whenever I get ideas like that, it's not like every idea I'm going to put into a thing, just not like with all your ideas, if eventually it was just me being crazy talking to myself in a camera. But I would like to hope that with more contribution come in, then not every idea can be used. It doesn't mean an idea is not a good idea, and sometimes it's a great idea, but it's just the wrong project. You know what I mean? Like, so sometimes you've got to put an idea aside and then sort of do it. But I don't know if this lightning drink thing could be anything, but I don't even bother spelling these days, just straight up with a spell check thing going on there. So, we've all gotten that way. So part of the thing that I was thinking about, you always have to have like a centralized theme. And of course, these are just all my ideas at the moment, and hopefully this might all change. Could be, a few months or a week or 10 years from now, this will all be totally different. But at the moment, I'm just sort of playing with this sort of concept, and I guess it's a little bit like that law of attraction, or just positive thinking, or reinforcements or whatever. And I think that they've done this thing, haven't they, where it's like your quantum field energy expansion or something. Really, I think it's always the same as like, because there's always like these metaphysical or spiritual reasons why these things happen and everything. But I think sometimes it can be even just simpler idea to understand as like, if you are thinking about buying a car and then you buy a particular car, but you hadn't seen this car around much before. Once you've got it, you see that car everywhere now. And I can't remember what it is. Smarter people, put it down in the comments. That now that you've got it or you're aware of it, now you see it, like your brain filters out things that aren't relevant to it. And I think it's kind of seen as more of like a survival mechanism or something, like, you know, like you hear the rustling or you see the animal approaching or something. But if it's like, you know, just leaves going down there or stream or whatever, it's like, that's why you sometimes don't even see it or whatever. It's not that it's not there, it's just it's not relevant to your brain, so your brain doesn't register it. You know what I mean? Like, the reality is reality, I guess. Could all be a simulation, who knows? I don't know these things. But you know, if you notice it's out there. And so that's kind of what I was thinking with this idea of like you creating your own sort of universe, that and maybe this main character, and again I'm just talking stuff. Hey, and if I swear, you know, I'm sure I'll get a strike or something, but you know, I'm Australian and we tend to, it's our native language, I guess. So what I was sort of thinking is that maybe this main character can't get it together, or maybe it's not even that. Maybe it's more that they only ever see things on a sad way or a down way, or a, you know, things are always going to work out badly for you or whatever, so that they don't even bother. I don't know, that could be sort of a thing, because you always need to have like a centralized theme, so that the main character has like an arc to go through, you know, so that they start here, crap happens, they get to a point where they can't go back to where they were. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's always a point in any story where something happens, circumstances, situations, whatever, you know, they a forced error, unforced error, whatever it is that gets them from this point here to this point here, and at this point it's like now they can't go back to where they were. Do you know what I mean? That's like the point in the story where they're now so involved in it that even if they just stopped, they're still involved in it, you know, like they can't, like, you know, it's like to get out you got to go in, you got to go all the way through, you know. So, you know, we've got to have something there that sort of motivates this character to, like, I don't know, forces them. That could be like the death moment, you know, like the obvious one is, so this person has to do something, whatever, establish their characters and the people we love and the people we hate, all that sort of stuff in the movie. So you got to give everybody a little bit of time in the beginning to, you know, just sort of get to know who they are, because if you don't care about the character or understand their motivation for doing something, good or evil, you know what I mean? Like, an evil person can't just be doing stuff because they're just evil, because it's like, they can just do anything then, right? You know what I mean? Like, it makes no sense what they are, so it just makes them a real weird character to sort of have, you know. And if they're like really overpowered and just crazy evil or whatever, but they're always trying to do something, right? And whatever it is they're trying to do always has to have perfectly logical reasons in their own mind for why they're doing it, or it won't make any sort of sense, you know. And it's not like, if they're the bad guy, it's not necessarily what they're doing is perceived as bad for them. It's like, this is the thing that needs to be done to get to this other goal or whatever, you know. So sometimes you can justify doing horrendously bad things, you know, characters doing horrendously bad things to each other, because their motivation for doing it is so strong that whatever they're doing, it makes sense, right? Like, to them it's not evil, it's not bad, it's just I want to do this, so I got to do this. That's how this shit goes. So that's all that we have to try and get there. So, like I said, the obvious thing that this character could do is, you know, when they die, that becomes a point that they can't go back, obviously, because they're dead. But then they can sort of go back, right? Because if we're going to make it that this character becomes like a hitman or a revenge thing, or a, you know, the ability to be able to you know, sorry, I'm just trying to think of the words, that's all it is. Just trying to, you know, to do their revenge or do their killing, or, you know, instigate these things or get rid of these sort of problems before they become a bigger problem. You said maybe it might be like if you get rid of this person now, they won't kill 100,000 people in a, you know, like they load up a car and drive it in and blow it up, and then, you know, all these other innocent people are dead, you know. And a few of those innocent people, you know, in Death's mind would be like, well, these people were going to go on and do this, and this was the person who cured cancer. But because this doofus drove the car because of whatever the reason they had in their brain that made sense to them, we don't get a cure for cancer, right? And maybe it's like, see, and that's the thing too, is like, what's Death's motivation for all this? You know, maybe Death wants less work. It's like his things, or, you know, Death's thing is like, sorry, because, you know, I'm a guy, so I just always refer back to that. Because Death is like, maybe Death's just had enough. You know, man, it could be simple as that. Maybe Death's just like, it's been at this for thousands of years now, and every time they come up, I gotta say the same thing. Do you know, imagine that, like, every time you go to do a call, you gotta repeat the same thing over and over again. Like a few weeks, months, for me, day and a half of that, I'm done, you know, like I'm so bored with saying this. I think with all those kind of things, you sort of feel disingenuous as well. So I think that you lose that motivation and that heart. So maybe Death's just had enough and just decided, well, let's get rid of the ones that are going to create the extra suffering, the extra and more workload. You know, it's easy to get rid of this one person now rather than the, you know, 20,000 that they send my way in 4.5 years' time when they do their thing, right? So, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we'll leave it there. I just want to keep these sort of short, like maybe 10 minutes when I do it. And yeah, just see what happens.